if it's true what they say. I nearly whacked myself in the head with this book, but that's fine. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. Unfortunate. Hi guys. My name is Steph. It has been quite a while, and I'm not really going to get into the whole where I've been. Basically, I've just been like enjoying life, and just sitting down and talking about books hasn't really been on my like list of priorities. So I'm not going to get into it, but I've just been trying to find my happiness again.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
And I decided that it is time to finally jump back onto this channel. But let's get into it and let's talk about some books. First we have got, and I will say quite a few of these were pre-orders. There's a couple of special editions, but we will get into that as we get into that. So first I have got Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. I have not heard good things about this book. I've heard a lot of people say that it is like barely romance, and a lot of people are saying this is their least favorite of hers so far. I think it's about two authors going to meet an older celebrity and both having the opportunity to write her biography, possibly. People just don't seem to be loving this book, but I've never met an Emily Henry book that I haven't enjoyed, so here's to hoping. Next I picked up Carnality by Lena Wolf. Now this is, I believe, translated from Spanish. I actually don't have an amazing concept on what this is about. I just really like the cover, and I've seen this recommended a lot for like weird girl books, so I picked it up. Then I picked up Normal People by Ainsley Hogarth. Now you might be noticing throughout, especially this haul, there are quite a lot of like weird books that don't fit into like one specific genre, or books that are typical like weird girl, weird fiction, experimental fiction, books that just aren't quite the norm. I am trying to delve into that sort of book more often, so there will be quite a few in this video. But yes, Normal Women by Ainsley Hogarth. It's basically about a woman joining a cult, as far as I know. Could be interesting. We have got In the Miso Soup by Ryu Murakami. This follows a Japanese tour guide, and he takes on an American tourist as a customer, and weird stuff happens. We have got Swana in Love by Jennifer Bell. I'm going to be fully transparent. I hate this cover. I don't know why. This cover to me is just like, I don't like it. This book has a different cover that I preferred, but this is the one that I purchased, so good job to me. I have heard that this is basically Lolita, but from the girl's point of view. Or like it's Lolita, but if the roles were switched, where it was the young girl chasing the older man. I'm not entirely sure. I haven't read it yet, so we shall see one day. Then we have got Sugar by Mia Ballard. I think this is about a woman whose husband or partner is cheating, and she decides to go to murder as revenge instead of like a normal amount of healthy revenge. Again, haven't read it, but I've seen quite a few people have been reading this book lately, and I don't know where this book came from. We'll see. Next, I have got two books by David Sodergren. A couple of months ago, I won't be talking about it because like that time has come and gone, but a couple of months ago I read The Heart by this author, and it changed my view on folk horror, so I decided to pick up two more of his books. So we have got Maggie's Grave, which is folksy small town, a grave sitting on the top of a mountain that people leave alone. And we have got The Forgotten Island, which is about two women who go to a deserted island, and creatures, things happen. I don't know, but I'm very excited. I didn't know anything about The Heart when I started it either, and I read it in one sitting. It was such a good book, so hopefully his other books also live up to my expectations. Next, I'm so sad about this book. So we have got Crying in H Mart by Michelle Zauner. Now I got this as an Amazon return, so it was only like $8, I think, just because like there is like a little bit of damage. It's at the top there. We will talk about this book at a later date. It's basically a memoir about this young woman whose mother passes, and I guess her grieving process and how she learns to move on, how to deal with it. I then got my pre-order of the what was then newest release of the Ice Planet Barbarian series by Ruby Dixon, which was Barbarian's Heart. Now my only issue is that this is a very I don't know if you'll be able to tell, a very glossy cover. All the other books in the series that I've got so far have like a kind of rough matte cover, so I'm really sad that they changed the type of cover they used, but they did, and it's a little bit annoying because you can definitely tell there is a difference when it's on my shelf, but I love the new covers, so very excited. If you don't know about the Ice Planet Barbarian series, this is not the video where I'm going to explain it, but I think the title is a little bit self-explanatory, perhaps. Then I picked up Miss Freida McFadden's newest book, which is The Tenant. Now, I did tell myself earlier this year after reading The Crash, because I think I got it as an audiobook from my library, I wasn't that impressed by it, and I was like, you know what, I'm just not going to buy any more Freida books physically until I have read them. But then I'd been doing so well with my book buying in April that I was like, I deserve it. So I bought it. Again, that's another one we will revisit. I purchased a secondhand short story collection called Dead Relatives by Lucy McKnight Hardy. I have read this. I will talk about it again during my wrap-up video, but I really like this cover. To me, this is very Ethel Cain vibes. The cover, the font style, I don't know. But yeah, short story collection about death and loss and all the fun things that come with that. I also have a secondhand copy of hard copy by Fionn Feldman, which is a translated work. This book, this is one of those weird books. This is about a woman who becomes besties with the photocopier at her job. I don't understand. I hopefully will one day, but I haven't read it, so I don't entirely understand. But it is quite a short book. It could just be like some light-hearted ridiculousness, and I guess I'm intrigued. Plus, I don't know why, man, the cover is just really cute. Like, it's just a really cute photo, so we shall see. I then picked up Mother Thing by Ainsley Hogarth. Again, this is secondhand. This is about a woman whose mother-in-law dies. And she's like, I'm assuming she's probably a little bit glad, like, hey, don't have to worry about my dreadful mother-in-law anymore. But then her mother-in-law starts to haunt her, and it's not good vibes. I'm excited. It sounds like a little bit surrealist, a little bit horror. Hopefully it lives up to the expectations. Next, I picked up another Amazon warehouse return of Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaghy. Again, another book I read this month. Another book we will talk about at a later point. All I'm going to say is this book blew my socks off. We have got another Amazon warehouse return, and I picked up Anxious People by Fredrik Backman. As you can see, tiny bit of damage on the back cover. Apart from that, it looks brand spanking new. All I know is this is about a bunch of people who get held up in a bank robbery, and I guess they connect. And some people are terrified to be there, and some people are like, oh my god, finally some excitement in my life. But I've only ever read Beartown by Fredrik Backman, and that book fully depressed me. So hopefully this is not that. Hopefully Anxious People is a little bit lighter for this anxious person. Guess what, guys? Another Amazon warehouse return. It is The Queen by Nick Carter. I don't know why hard copy is a photo of a person on the cover, and I'm so attracted to that photo. And then this photo, I'm like, why are you here? This is not what I want in my books. I don't know much about this. I just know it's about two friends. One of them goes missing and the other tries to find her, I think. I haven't read any Nick Carter, but this was, I mean, this is the only damage on it, right? So it's got like a little bit of a tear, which I knew I was buying a secondhand copy, so that was fine. It was a 2023 release or 2024 release, and it's so strange because after The Troop, I'd never heard anything about Nick Carter. I didn't know that he had a new book. I thought The Troop was his newest release, and I was incorrect. So I picked it up. I think it was like $8, and it retails for about $22 when it's brand new. Thought I'd give it a shot. Next, I decided after my experience with Charlotte McConaghy and Wild Dark Shore that it was time to purchase Once There Were Wolves. Now, something really fun about Once There Were Wolves is that I have owned this book before. Isn't that crazy? Isn't it cool that I picked this up originally from a secondhand shop for about $3, and it sat on my shelves for no more than 2 months, and I decided I was never going to read it. So I donated it back to that shop. And now 3 years later, 2 years later, I purchased it brand new.
That's not funny!
From what I know about Charlotte McConaughey and what I learnt from Wild Dark Shore is she deals with quite traumatized characters, quite deep characters within the setting of like an isolated dying environment. So Wild Dark Shore dealt with an Antarctic island. This one deals with trying to, I think, reintegrate wolves into the wild. I'm here for it. Like, I haven't read it yet, but I know I'm going to enjoy this book. And if I don't, I'm going to cry that I paid full price for it. Next, I picked up a new release. And this book it's crazy to me. I thought this book was blowing up worldwide. I don't know what book I'm thinking of. I clearly got it wrong. I thought this book, like, everyone was talking about it. Australia was just the last place it was going to be released, as per fucking usual. And then I purchased it. And then I opened to, like, the second page, and I realized that this book is set in Australia. And not only is it set in Australia, it's written by an Australian. And lo and behold, no one's ever heard of this book, except for me, apparently. It's called Ritual by Chloe Elizabeth Wilson. Yes. And this is a commentary on the beauty industry and like beauty standards, I think. Very similar vibes to Natural Beauty and possibly Rouge by Myrna Awad. I haven't read either of those books, but just from what I've heard, she gets a job at a beauty company. And it is a very cult-like workplace. And I think things would get dark, but I don't know. This cover to me just screams weird girl fiction, so we did purchase that. We did. I also finally received Butter by Asako Yuzuki. Now, this book is, I believe, about a... Do I want to say this? I think it's about a person who eats people teaching other people how to cook. I don't know if they're teaching how to cook people, but they have something to do. Like, they are a chef. Now, I specifically picked up this book because it's been on my TBR on and off for probably like 9 months at this point. I decided to finally pick this up because I watched a movie on Netflix. I cannot remember the name of it from the top of my head. I will insert it somewhere on the screen. But I watched this movie and I was like, I should finally pick up Butter, because I love a horror movie that is set in a restaurant or deals with cooking. And I don't know, I'm trying to convert my love of restaurant and food related horror movies to books. We'll see if this is the book that does that for me. The Names by Florence Knapp. And because I decided to film at the worst time of day, it's getting mighty difficult to see the gold foiling on any books. This is just an interesting book. We're following a woman. She has, I believe, a son. And we then follow, I think, 3 split timelines based on her son's name. If she named him this, his life would go this way. If she named him this, his life would go this way. And if she named him this, his life would go that way. And that is a very interesting concept to me, because names are just names. You can always just argue that. Names are names. It doesn't matter what a person is called. Their name isn't going to determine how their body grows and how their mind grows and how they develop. But what if it did? Right? What if it did? That's what this book is asking. And I'm excited to try it. It's a bit literary, I think, for my sort of current book tastes, but we will see how we go. Next, I got a pre-order that I ordered back in November. It is A Dawn with the Wolf King by Elise Kovar, and it is the Bookish Box edition. So here is the beautiful dust jacket, okay? Purple sprayed edges. Love to see it. And we have got Miss Elise Kovar's signature, and that means that I have got a completed Bookish Box set of the Married to Magic series, which live, you can't see it, they live on that shelf up there. I'm just very excited. I was like, I just need to finish my set. I need my set to be complete, and I finally received it in the mail, which is very exciting to me. Next, I picked up Lucinda Berry's newest release, which is called 1 in 4. I remember when she announced this book on TikTok, and I was like, obviously I'm going to get it. I love my queen. Lucinda Berry, queen. And this follows I think it's a psychologist or a counselor that agrees to be on a reality TV show. I think this book could kind of be interesting when you are putting a doctor or someone who is meant to be caring and protecting people's mental well-being and putting them in a situation like reality TV. It'll be a very interesting read. Then, like I said, I purchased Barbarian's Heart because it was the newest release from the Ice Planet Barbarian series. And then the next book was released about 2 weeks later. Very, very bizarre. And it is called Barbarian's Hope. Again, this has that glossy cover that I'm not a massive fan of, but as long as they keep releasing these books, I'm going to keep buying them. This series, I wouldn't even call it a guilty pleasure because I don't feel guilt about anything I read ever, but this is one of those books that is definitely more of a fun read than a book that's going to change anything about my personality. It's just gonna like give me some fun, happy vibes. So I purchased that one as well. It is quite a small book, I will say, and I think this is the first book in the series that doesn't have a human but in the main couple, so interesting. Then I received another pre-order. This pre-order, I believe, was also from November. It was from a while ago. It was definitely from last year, and it is the Bookish and Spice edition of That Sick Love by Jessie Hall. So we got some fun foiling, some sprayed edges, and this is not, I don't think this actual edition is signed, but it did come with a signed book plate. So we got that. I have never read this book. I think this book is very popular within the dark romance communities. I haven't read it personally, but I will.
Look in his eyes, see how he lies.
Next we've got Brute by Diz Tate. This cover, again, kind of gives me Ethel Cain vibes, as well as the fact that this deals with a bunch of nosy gossipy girls that seem to be very focused on a preacher's daughter. And I heard preacher's daughter and I was like, Ethel Cain, like, this book is gonna get fucked up. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. I couldn't tell you. I haven't read it yet. Next, I picked up another new release because apparently May was the month of new releases for me. It is Ali Hazelwood's newest, which is Problematic Summer Romance. I'm gonna be honest, I may not be keeping up to date with Ali Hazelwood because I did not know that this book was a thing until after it was released, which is crazy. I feel like usually, I mean, I've already got the sequel to Bride in my Amazon wishlist. This book just flew under the radar for me. I had no idea this book's coming out. Not an ink, like, it just popped up on Amazon one day and I thought maybe it was a novella, or maybe it was just like an Amazon Audible original. No, it's a full-fledged book. It's the sequel to Not in Love. We've got 2 more books for this book haul. This is still a long video. I feel like I've been racing through these, and yet here we are, and it's still going to be a long... The last 2 books I purchased. Now, I will be honest, they were impulsive purchases, and they were unnecessary purchases, and if things hadn't worked out for me the way that they did, I would have been mad at myself for purchasing them. But I decided that there are 2 books on my shelves that at that point in time I hadn't read, but I decided that if I'm going to own these 2 books and they're going to be on my shelves, I want them to be together because they're by the same author. I want them to be together and I want them to match, and the editions I currently have of these books do not match. One's a hardback, one's a paperback, different covers, different fonts, different, like, entirely different styles. I decided I want these books to match. I want some coordination. So I purchased these 2 books. They are both special editions or collector's editions, and they are beautiful. So we have got the 10th anniversary edition of The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. Oh, look at the shine. She is beautiful, right? And then I also purchased Circe by Madeline Miller. Again, beautiful, beautiful. Now, the only thing that really, really annoyed me about Circe is the condition in which these books were delivered. Song of Achilles, there is a, like, baby amount of damage. I won't even bother showing it to you on camera because you won't be able to see it properly. Circe, however, I don't, like, that is entirely, like, fucked up. Like, you can see the actual material of the cover coming through. I did get a refund for it because they decided to ship books without bubble wrap. Beyond me. So I did get a refund. I don't know if I want to repurchase it. I'm trying to, like, push away the part of me that is very like, my books need to be in perfect condition. I'm trying to ignore that part of me because, I mean, it is the special edition, right? On the shelves together, you're not going to see. Oh, actually, I lied. You will, because there's more damage here. That is different from that damage. That's fine. But yeah, I'm trying to just be like, Steph, let it go. It's going to be fine. You don't need to purchase another copy of a book. You don't need to purchase the same copy of a book. So anyway, that is the book haul over. I purchased a lot more books in May than I initially thought I did, but a lot of these were also pre-orders that finally came through. So, bit of a mixed month. Thank you for being here.